Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of spiritual changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self, and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.
That person was just telling me everything that's going wrong in his life. And he was just like complaining and complaining about everything and everyone. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stop you. I've heard enough. And I'm so done hearing the same things over and over again. What are you focusing on? Expense. I mean that so freaking seriously. Because if you are just going to complain, and this is one of the biggest things for people in general that keeps them stuck in their patterns, that they only see what's happening negatively around them and they just talk about it. So what you do with that, you are just keep reinforcing for that reality to repeat over and over again, because you literally tell to your mind, to yourself, and to the universe, this is what is happening, and just, I want more of it. Bring more of it on. And screw that. And the reality is that our mind are wired that way. So do not blame yourself when you hear this, that I'm one of those complainers. I see the negatives as well. Do not blame yourself. I've been there. I still fall through it. We are humans. And at the same time, it's something that can be changed, that can be shifted if you desire. But you need to have the desire. You need to be aware of it. Oh my God, I'm actually complaining a lot right now. Overall, like all I'm talking about is what's not working in my life. And you need to be aware then to make a decision. This is something I want to shift. This is something I want to change. So awareness, you make the decision and then you act on it. And how the heck do you start acting on it? By bringing that awareness in each and every conversation that you have, by start paying attention to your inner world. Like, what is it that you are thinking about when you are by yourself? What are those repetitive thoughts? Because those are the thoughts that are creating your reality. Those are like the recipe that you put in the pot of your life that are keep mixing and creating your life. And that's why you have heard over and over again that what you focus on expands. So what do you focus on your daily life? What are you talking about with those around you? And I can tell you, even when I remember a few years ago when I was in financial debt, all I was focusing on was on the debt that I was having. And when I was in debt and I was focusing on the debt that I was having on my credit card, I was so worried. I could barely sleep at night. And I'm like, oh my God, I have this debt and I have this debt and I have this debt and I have this debt. And that's all I was like running in the back of my mind. And I remember starting reading this book, Money, A Love Story by Katie Northrup. And over there, she said, is it really true that you have debt? And then I went through these like huge exercises where I would write down all my assets and all of the money things and so on. And then I was able to like look at things from a higher perspective, because that's what we actually need when we are just focusing on problem. We need to just go a little bit more further, and have this eagle view of the bigger perspective. And when I went and looked at my whole situation from a higher perspective, I was like, I actually don't really have that, because I have such a big asset that if I choose to sell that, I'm actually so freaking wealthy. And I also have all of these investments that actually exceed my debt. And I got to like be mind blown of how well I was actually financially, even though I didn't have the cash so much and I had debt on my credit cards. But when I looked at the whole picture, I'm like, I'm actually freaking amazing right now in this moment. So if you have a hard time to find things to not even be grateful for, yes, because when you are in a state that things are just like happening and it's hard for you to move through and you just see problem, it's very hard to be grateful for things. But can you just stop in that moment and be like, okay, but can I find one thing just in this moment that it's actually working in my life? And this is what I was asking my brother. I'm like, can you share with me, like, what is one thing that's actually working? He's like, nothing. I don't know. There is nothing. I'm like, really? How about your health? Are you healthy? He's like, yes, I am. How about your job? Do you have a job? I actually do. How about the roof over your head? Do you have a roof over your head? Yes. How about food on your table? But because we have those things that in general we do until something drastically happens and it just swipes it up, we don't appreciate them. We don't recognize these day-to-day things. That's why it's important to stop, to pause and be like, what is it working? Because we have to be intentional to look for the things that are working, because the way our mind is wired, it is to search for what's not working, because it's a problem-solving machine. That's what the mind is. So I do not want you to blame yourself or blame the mind, because that's just how it's wired. Yes? So do not blame yourself. And at the same time, take intentional time throughout your day to be like, what is it working right now? Oh my gosh, I'm having a phone to be able to watch Andreea right now. I'm healthy. I'm having food on my table. I have these beautiful clothes. I have water that I can drink. What is it that it's already working? And the moment you start creating this shift in your life and you start expanding and you build this muscle, because it's literally a muscle, that a new muscle that you have to build, these new neural pathways, then I promise you your life is going to change, it's going to transform. But it starts with awareness, with the decision that you want to create the shift. Yes, so awareness when you are complaining, what it is that you are complaining about, to who, and just when you find yourself, because at the beginning it's going to be harder, but then you're just going to start complaining the same as you used to somebody, and then you're going to start hearing yourself. So in that moment, I want you to just shut the fuck up, just shut up and shift it and change it and reverse it and be like, okay, I went into the old pattern, and you can even share it out loud. I went into the old pattern, and that's okay. I'm aware. I forgive myself for doing that. Let me shift in this moment. And that's how you create the change. You make the shift in the moment. Don't wait for these big, grandiose things to happen in order for your life to change, because guess what? Your life is actually changing in these small things, in the day-to-day actions that you are taking through the awareness and the focus that you put on things. Yes, we need to exercise the muscles that are focusing on things that are working in our life. So I'm gonna start sharing so you have an example and what's working. First and foremost, I have this phone, I have internet to be able to communicate with you right now and be here in this space. I have this beautiful water bottle that it's molecular hydrogen that is just nourishing me every single day. Wow. And look at this. I have this beautiful necklace that I got on my birthday in Peru from this beautiful human being that was from Colombia, and he just built it piece by piece, and I get to wear it. And it's connected with my solar plexus, which is my power, the trust, self-esteem that I have in myself, and I can go on and on and on, honestly, for a whole day. Do you see how simple it is when we take the time, when we put the attention, and when we are intentional with it? Because that's what you need. And one of the things my brothers were telling me, he was like, yeah, but this is who I am, I don't even know, he's not even 40. And he's like, this is who I am. And it's just so hard to make the change. And I was like, yeah, it's not going to be easy. I'm sorry to let you know, but are you happy with your life right now? He's like, no. I'm like, do you want to continue this way? He's like, not really. And I'm like, it's not that if you just want to continue this way, but the thing is that it might get worse than how it is. If we do not listen to the signs, if we do not create the shifts, if we do not live to our highest potential, actually things can get even worse. To have that wake up call. And I was telling him that the majority of people, when they keep living their life in a way that it's misaligned to their soul, to their purpose, and they keep going and they receive the signs but don't make the changes, something drastic usually it is going to happen. And the last thing that happens is something with our body, with our health. So yes, it's so necessary. And you're going to get to a point where something so drastic is going to happen with your health that you will have no choice than to create the change. So what I'm sharing here with you, everything that I'm sharing on this page, on my stories, through my podcast, I'm sharing so you don't have to get there, because I've been there. For some of you that know my story, I had a near-death experience 11 years ago where I was in a coma for 2 days, and I had I don't want to say major repercussions afterwards, but I had huge headaches for over a year. I had huge medical bills. So it was like an upside down for my life in that moment. And that's what was needed for me, because I was not listening and I was not living in alignment in order to create the shifts needed, the changes needed to live my potential that I am right now and sharing with you from through experience and embodiment. So I don't want you to get to that place where something physical is going to happen to you in order to wake up. You can wake up by start paying attention and start creating the shifts, even if it's hard to create the shift. It's actually over time, it's going to be so much freaking harder to stay in the same place that you have been living in. And I have full trust in you that you can create any change that you desire, but you have to believe that it's possible. So do you believe in this moment that, okay, right now, maybe I'm complaining a lot and I'm focusing on what's not working and I don't believe in myself, and all of these things that we all experience. Hello, you are not unique there. But can you start believing that the shift, that the change, a different life, it is possible for you? Because my love, if you do not believe, it's not going to be possible. I would put it down here like a beautiful blanket as the foundation for you to start building on. So it's like believing, then we bring the awareness, then we bring the decision, that awareness to the change we want to make, then the decision, I'm going to do it, and then acting on it. And it's just paying attention moment by moment, because changes are created in the small, incremental, daily, consistent shifts. Don't wait for the big, grandiose things in order to change your life. You can start in this moment, and I believe in you. Let me know what resonated with you, what stood out to you, and share with me just what is it that it's working on in your life right now. I would love to hear. So let me know. And if you are a high-level entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur who has done a lot, achieved a lot, and you're like, oh my gosh, but I'm still not happy and I'm stressed and so on, I have created this free calculator that is going to tell you exactly how much money your business is actually leaking right now by having a dysregulated nervous system. and regulating your nervous system, somatic tools, breathwork, coaching. Hello, that's my expertise, helping you go through major life transitions like a freaking leader that you are. I will share with you the assessment. It is free and is going to give you a result that is not just a result, but also a practice that is going to help you start implementing immediately on how you can start regulating your nervous system so you stop sabotaging your success and your income in your business. And it's research based, it's science based, it's not woo woo, and you're gonna freaking love it. Thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure connecting with all of you, and I will see you all soon. Much love, and reach out if you want support to working one-on-one through your transitions. Sending you much love.
Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of spiritual changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self, and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.